Me gustaría dar mi agradecimiento por invitarme a su país, Argentina. Mis disculpas por no hablar español. La próxima vez prometo hablar un poco más. Tengo el curso en mis manos. Entonces, comencéis una vez más. Muchas gracias. No. Terrible. I'd like to thank Ariel and Mirko for doing the translation today. They're great guys. I have spent a lot of time with them, and I just want to thank them for doing that. I'd like to share with you some fun stuff today. We're going to cover what we call the 7 laws of maximum profit for the club industry, the health clubs, gimnasio. And I'd like to introduce you to someone before we get started. How many people here are from Chile? Okay, this is one of your sisters. She's my daughter. My wife Mary and I had the great blessing of having adopted Mike Chaet, my daughter. And the story is that when we were going through the process of adoption, they said to us, "Do you want a boy or a girl?" And we said, "We don't care, we just want a baby." And so we got a telephone call in March and said, "You are now the parents of a baby girl." And her birthday was January 28th, 1989. That makes her 18 years old today. She was a baby at that particular time, 3 or 4 months. This was an amazing event because I was born on January 28th, 1947. Even more amazing is my mother, Barbara, was born January 28th, 1926. So I just thought I would share that with you. So everyone from Chile, there she is. Before we get started with the 7 laws, I would like to get rid of this briefcase. I would like to tell you a story of something that has become very profound and important to me in the last several months. And I think it's extremely important and profound to you as health club owners and operators. And I'm going to ask you some questions about this. The story goes like this. My wife is named Mary. She is what you would call a hard body. She's very, very fit. She is a 2nd-degree black belt in karate. She does yoga 3 times a week. She swims 3 to 4 times a week and lifts weights 3 or 4 times a week. And she does it just because she wants to. It's her lifestyle. And she believes strongly that of all the things in the world that we can control or not control, this is the one thing she can control: her health and her fitness. So that's her story. On Mary's belt, she wears a pedometer. And the pedometer tells you how many steps each day that you take. Her goal is to reach every day 10,000 steps. So, one day she's with her brother. Now here's where the story gets very interesting. She is with her brother who weighs 400 pounds. Muy gordo. Mary takes her pedometer off her belt and says, "Here, put it on your belt and see how many steps you get each day." Now, of course, John, who's Mary's brother, and is muy gordo. Is that the right word? Yeah. Of course, we've talked to him hundreds of times about losing weight, stopping smoking, and how to do it, and going on a diet. You know the routine. You've spoken to hundreds and hundreds of people yourselves. And of course, they're our brother and sister. Of course, we tried to get him to lose weight. You can imagine the effort we've made. So Mary gives John her pedometer. Now listen carefully now. This is the important part of the story. John counts his steps the first day. He had about 4,000 steps. He calls Mary and says, "How many steps did you get today?" Mary said, "About 11,000. John said, "I only got 4,000. I'll beat you tomorrow." Pay attention carefully to that. "I will beat you tomorrow." The next day, he did 15,000 steps. Think about that. Every day now, he calls Mary on the telephone and texts her. 12,000 steps. 16,000 steps. I broke 20 today. He gets to Mary at least 6 to 8, maybe 10 times a day to see how many steps she's doing so he could do more. Okay, that's the end of the story. But what is the purpose of the story and the moral of the story? And what does it tell us? You in the back corner, and you in the back corner, and you and me. What does it tell us about human beings and why they do things? And what is your greatest problem in the club business? I know what your greatest problem is. We don't have to sit here and have a discussion. I'll tell you. Getting people through the front door, number one. Number two, keeping them as members. I know your business. We all have the same problem. Am I correct? Thank you. Gracias. I know that one too. So, let's go back to the story. Here is a man who would not exercise, eats 20 hamburgers a day, eats gallons of ice cream a day, But yet now he's got this little $20 plastic box hanging on his belt, driving him to become physically fit. And if we go back into the deepest, darkest corner of his mind, the deepest, darkest corner, we can actually tell why he's getting fit. Because he's competing with his sister. It is called sibling rivalry. He's competing with his sister just like he did when he was a kid. I can build my pile higher than you. And mom will love me more. And dad will think I'm better. Is this sick? You know, I don't know if it's sick. I think it's reality. Think of this, a man, 400 pounds, 50 years old, won't exercise, and all of a sudden he's exercising because of some deep, dark thing in the back of his mind. Who cares? The only thing we care about is that he's doing it, right? What's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is we don't know why people do things they do. And as fitness, people selling fitness as a product and health as a product, the people that buy our product have reasons to buy it and do it. They're so individualistic that almost every single person has another reason to do it, buy it, join, and stay a member of your club. And here we are as an industry, and I speak in, this year I'll speak in probably 50 different countries, and we all have the same thoughts. What kind of product can we create? What kind of product can we create that people will buy? What is our fitness product? Is it social? Is it losing weight? Is it getting big arms? Is it getting small waist? Is it getting our hips smaller? Is it making my butt smaller? Is it making my butt bigger? I don't know. The answer is everybody has a different reason. And what I could tell you is the package that you put it in has to come from information that you get talking to people one-on-one. And if you want the key point of differentiation, the ultimate key point of differentiation with our product is to listen now, help that person discover their personal fitness key. And in the case of John, the personal fitness key was a pedometer in competition with his sister. Does anybody in this room sell a pedometer in competition with his sister as a membership? You see? It's something very serious to think about, don't you think? I'm going to go through the 7 laws of our business as we've written them, and then afterwards I have a little movie to show you on how to unlock that key. And so, law number 1 is called the law of people. The law of people. And with people sharing a common vision, with people sharing a common vision in your business and a common set of values, a common vision and a common set of values, we can't lose. There's a great movie, and I don't know if you've gotten it here yet, but if you get it here, you should see this movie. And if you don't like war movies, it's okay, go see it. It's called 300. You're shaking your head. Have you seen it? Okay, not only did I see it, I saw it 5 times in a row. You said 3. All right, I'll show you a book I have. There's a book also called The Gates of Fire by Stephen Pressfield. The movie is about the Battle of Thermopylae in Greece. And the movie is about how 300 warriors went to battle against 2 million, and that's what it says in the book, 2 million Persians. 300 against 2 million. And the 300 warriors were trained to carry their shield, so it not only covers them, but it covers their fellow soldier from thigh to shoulder. And when they lined up in formation, nobody could penetrate that formation. With people that have a common vision and common values, we can only be the best. At the Battle of Thermopylae, these 300 soldiers were reported to have defeated and killed 30,000, that's the real number, 30,000 Persians in 7 days. Because they had a common vision, a common purpose, liberty, freedom. Protect my fellow soldier with my shield. The whole issue becomes in our clubs. If we choose to be the best at what we do, that's not good enough just to choose to be the best. We must, unquestionably, we must act that way as a group. And everybody must act exactly the same way and have the same set of values and the same level of interest. You know, I hear a lot about customer service. I don't know anybody in this world that really knows what customer service is. Because if I ask each one of you, how are you better than the guy down the street? Everyone in this room is going to raise, well, we have better customer service. Well, it can't be that way. Because if everybody has better customer service, then everybody's the same. It's the club, fitness people, social people that meet the member at his door or her door and says, I know what you want because you told me and I'm going to give it to you as your product. That's what customer service is. Customer service isn't keeping your club clean. Customer service isn't keeping your fitness equipment working. Customer service is giving the customer what they want when they want it. Whoa, that's a hard thing to get your hands around. Yeah, it's very hard. If it was very easy, everybody would already be doing it. A world record. I used to coach swimming, and I had swimmers that held world records. Matter of fact, in the Mexican Olympics, we held the 800, 400, and 400 IM world records in gold medals. And the one thing I discovered by coaching the great athletes is that world records are not set by normal people. World records are set by people that go beyond. They're not average. They're not balanced. They're totally out of whack. They're totally out of balance. Otherwise, they wouldn't set a world record. When you spend 15 hours a day in the swimming pool with your face down, that's not normal. But that's what it takes to set a world record. Think of your customer service. Think of the teamwork that you and your people are working from. Think of the set of values. Are you all on the same page? Can you go back to your staff that runs your front desk that served us coffee yesterday and say, those people are all on the same page? They're nice people. But unless you ask that question of yourself and work towards it as if it were a world record, then you'll never be there. That's the challenge. The law of people. It's all about your people in your business and how you lead them and bring them to their own world records in customer service, fitness programs for your members, social programs for your members, sports activities for your members. It's all got to have this single focus, as if everybody was one person. Law number 2. There's Carrie again. The law of decision in reality. The basis for good decisions. The basis for good decisions are principles. We start with our principles. In other words, the rules that we live by. The rules that our business is going to be run by. Decisions should not come emotionally based. They should come from good information. Yesterday I made a suggestion to you. Two or three decisions. Those are not emotionally based suggestions. The decisions I made to you to introduce a thing called Aqualogics in your pool is based on hundreds of other clubs that I've seen do it. And it changes the profile of your club. The idea of putting a walking track around the top is based on seeing hundreds of other walking tracks that work. The principles of good decisions are fairness. Everybody gets treated based on principles and equality, not emotional behavior. Well, I'm mad at you, so we're not going to do this today. In a sense, we have to remove all emotion from this process. The basis of good decisions are principles, good information, and consideration for all people. Consideration for all people. The person that cleans your club is and may be the most important person in the club. But yet we have a different consideration for that person or the professional fitness person or the professional salesperson. All people that work in your club are into that shield. They're all have the same, need to be treated in the same way. And that same way is we as owners, and I'm going to dig into a slightly different seminar that I run. I run another seminar called, and listen to this one, it's called Luxury Cruise, like a big cruise line ship. Luxury Cruise or Shipwreck, where the ship runs into the rocks. So the name of the seminar is Luxury Cruise or Shipwreck. And the whole idea of that cruise is, how many owners are in here? How many of you are club owners or managers? How many of you are not owners or managers? How many of you aren't here? The job how many of the owners, would you raise your hands again, owners and managers? Okay. Listen carefully, guys. Of the owners in the club, in the room here, how many of you spend most of your time working at doing things in your club instead of working on your club and doing planning and bigger things, strategic things that will help your club grow? And I know what the answer is. Most of you here spend most of your time working on things inside the club and would rather be working on strategic things, management things. And the answer to your question of how to get from here to here, the answer to the question is very simple. Your job as owner and manager, your job description as an owner and manager is to spend most of your time developing your team, your people. And somehow you're going to have to give up something to jump that hurdle. If you spend most of your time developing your team, you will then have, because they'll do a good job for you, you will then have enough time to do the strategic planning and help them grow the club even to a better club. So decisions in reality. I'll teach you a little trick about making decisions, the toughest decisions. And I know you've all done this. The subconscious mind versus the conscious mind. The conscious mind sits here and says, give me all these facts. I'm going to gobble up all these facts. And give me all these possible answers. And give me everything you can about the situation. And I'll make a decision. Well, the fact of the matter is the conscious mind cannot make a decision. The conscious mind is nothing but a collection bureau. It's like a big old bucket, and you just keep putting stuff in the bucket. So you have to learn to accept that about your conscious mind, then move to your unconscious mind. Well, your unconscious mind is like a computer. It takes all the junk the conscious mind got in, and it sorts it out. This is good, this is bad, this is good, 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 bad, 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 good, good, good. Here's the decision. Wake up, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, write it down. That's how you make good decisions. Good information in, to let the conscious mind sort it out. Don't force yourself into making the decision. You will. You'll be okay. Don't worry. Your subconscious mind will take care of you. And it will then say, "Oop, here's the decision." Oh, it's nice. It's easy. Then you just got to go do it. The law of decisions in reality. Learn to control your decisions. Set your principles. Write them down. Give your principles to everybody that works with you. Even give your principles to the members. I go into at least 1,000 clubs a year. That's my goal, to go into 1,000 clubs a year. Went into 3 yesterday. After flying for 36 straight hours. Went into 3 clubs. Loved it. Enjoyed it. Almost fell asleep, but I enjoyed it. Not once did I see their guiding principles of this club on the wall. Every club that we work with, our clients, we tell them, we want you to take a big old poster or banner, put it right in the front lobby. These are the guiding principles of our club. This is our mission statement. This is the reason we exist. And every club that puts that up gets greater brand loyalty, product loyalty from their members, because they start to identify with the way the owner thinks. And if the owner thinks that way and the team thinks that way and now the members think that way, wow, it starts to get pretty good. And then what do? They tell their friends, that club down the way, they do good things for me. I'm getting results. They treat me nice. I like the principles by which they run the club. They donate money to the local school. All those things. They're a good member of society. I like them. Let's support them. Whoa. Let's support them. That's pretty cool when the members are going, let's support the business. I like that. Instead of going out the back door. That's called member retention. Duh. That works in Spanish, right? Duh. Member loyalty. The most important thing we can do because it grows our members. We talk about our two major problems, getting people in the front door and keeping them from going out the back door. If we can prevent people from going out the back door by getting greater brand loyalty, then they will bring in their friends. That gets people through the front door. Tomorrow we'll talk a lot about referral programs. Law number 3. This is one of my favorites. It's called the law of preparation and presentation. Your club is judged by the quality of each member experience. Preparation and presentation must be impeccable, perfect. Most of you close your club 10, 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Is that correct? Okay. The member that comes in at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, did they get the same experience as the member that got there in the morning when the club was perfectly clean from the night before? No. The lockers are open, there's dust on the floor, there's powder all over the place, there's towels, there's paper towels, the toilet paper is gone, there's dead bodies in the corner from people that had heart attacks. What is the deal? Do the guys that come in at 11 o'clock at night pay half dues or something? They're getting a used club experience. Your club is judged not only, catch this, pay attention to what I'm saying right now. Your club is not only judged by the 1 hour that the member is there, but every minute that they're there. Every single minute when they're on the spinning bikes, and all of a sudden their spinning bike starts screaming at them because the flywheel is not lubricated properly. Or they go swimming and their eyes hurt because there's too much chlorine in the water. Or they go in the locker room and there's some guy left something on the floor that is very unpleasant. It's a minute by minute by minute world. And what are we doing to create what I call quality of the experience? What is the quality of the experience your member is getting? I went into 3 clubs here in Argentina yesterday, and I tried to evaluate the quality of experience that I could imagine the clubs getting. I'm sorry, the members. One of the big issues that came up for discussion yesterday was parking. parking becomes an issue, right? You have a parking issue? Yeah. It's all over the world. It's not an Argentinian thing, you know. It's everywhere. So I understand that in Brazil, everybody's got a car. In Argentina, every other person has a car. Is that what we had discussed? Yeah. It doesn't matter. All that matters is when the person drives to your club, can they get out and then go work out? Or can they not get out? So our discussion yesterday said, well, what do you do about it? It says, well, we have valet parking. Okay. You know, in my mind, I'm thinking, valet parking, all of a sudden, the quality of experience gets higher. I'm not suggesting that's the solution for everything. All I'm saying is that's one solution for one issue that becomes very important. Here's another one that's really fun. The choice of music. My first job was in 1965. You guys weren't even born in 1965. Yeah, there's a couple old white-bearded guys there that were. 1965, I was the manager of a health club. It wasn't a pretty picture. There were 600 people that owned this health club. I was 18 years old. I was not qualified to be a manager. But I did like rock and roll music. So I put on rock and roll music. Let's lift weights, put on rock and roll music. Well, I found out very quickly that 600 people each had a different take on the music. It's the same problem today. Things don't change. The only thing that changes is solutions. So I discovered a solution just about a year ago. It's a great solution. There's a new company called MyE. And when people, MyE is a company that provides a kiosk like this to the health club, and then they also sell them MyE MP3 players. So when a member joins a club that has MyE for $23, they give them a MyE MP3 player. And so now they have their own MyE MP3 player, and they go over to the kiosk, and there's 200 exercise protocols. So now I want to go on the treadmill, and I want to do an intermediate workout with a little bit of hills and a little bit of speed. So I put that in there. It downloads the program. I take the MyE, it's only this big, take the MyE player, put it on my ears, go. That solves the problem of music. So the law of preparation and presentation is this. How does it affect you? The way it affects you is really simple. Each minute of each visit needs to be monitored by you and your staff to make sure the experience, the quality of experience, is the ultimate experience that your member can get for what they're paying. Now, in the United States, and I suppose every place in the world, there are new club models popping up all over the place. One of the new club models is a 24-hour club that has no staff that costs like $15 a month, $10 a month. It's basically called a key club. So how do you monitor that experience? Well, the expectation of that experience is very low. All they want is cleanliness and working equipment. So if you have that model, that is your monitoring criteria. Most clubs don't run that way. Most clubs try to take care of their members. It's a more complicated issue. Prepare for every minute of your presentation. Imagine if you went to a restaurant and you ordered a steak and they didn't prepare to present it to you properly. How would you feel? It's no different. Fitness, we need to prepare to present our fitness on a silver platter. I'll talk about money in a few minutes, because that does cost money, and I'm going to talk about pricing as well. By the way, I don't know who's going to be here tomorrow, but we'll have a fairly extensive discussion during my marketing presentation about positioning and pricing of your club inside your market. We'll talk about that in detail tomorrow. The next law is what we call the law of numbers. That's your bookkeeper trying to figure out how to keep the numbers straight. What we want to do is we want to not just keep our numbers, but we want to set standards in advance and use your numbers to keep score. By setting our standards, do you know how many sales you should be making every month? Do you know how many sales presentations each salesperson needs to make to reach their goals? For example, let's say the salesperson has to make 40 phone calls to get 20 appointments to get 10 shows to make 5 sales a day. Those are standards. Do you know the percentage of revenues that you should be spending on payroll? I'll tell you right now, it should be probably in this country someplace around 25%. If it goes up to 30, you're probably going too high. Do you know what percentage your rent should be? That should be no more than 20%. So if we set our standards and we work on our ratios, financial ratios, if we work on our financial ratios and standards, then we know what the score is. Are we okay? Are we making bad decisions? Are we meeting our goals or are we not meeting our goals? As operators and managers, you should be giving the people that work in your club their own standards and their own levels to reach. So if each person is reaching their standards, cumulatively, we're doing fine as a club. So it's not good enough just to keep your records. It's to use them to make good decisions. Remember, we talked about decisions in reality. The only way you can make good decisions in good reality is to have good, solid numbers. If you know what your numbers are and you have your performance standards, then you know where you're making your mistakes. We operate over 1,000 health clubs in 60 countries. We're the largest club operation group in the world under one system. We provide our clubs with standards. So you need to operate here, and if you're not, we need to fix you. How do we fix you? Well, we sit down and we work with fixing it. Here's where you're off. Here's where your mistakes are. And here's how to improve it. It's actually quite simple. But it's all about performance standards. If I want my bicep to be big, I need to do a certain number of curls. We all know that. If I want my bank account to be big, we've got to do a certain number of things, like have our certain number of members paying a certain amount of money with a high level of collections, and we need to now take that money and distribute it in a reasonable fashion. 20% for rent or mortgage, 30% for payroll, 10% for marketing. You see? So if we can take our financial situation, break it into a pie, and give it out according to the size of the piece of the pie, then we know what our standards are. In your life, you make a certain amount of money. You should have your own standards and performance standards to live up to. And so when we teach our financial management sessions, that's the first thing we do. We teach you how to manage your personal finances first, then your club finances. You see. So the law of numbers says, let's take a set of standards that we build for your club, and let's live up to them. Use them to evaluate our progress. I took a picture of Guillermo in his earlier days and used it for this slide. The law of change. And although people resist change, it is this very change that keeps them vibrant and interested in life. You know, people tend to get set in their ways. And we talk to thousands and thousands and thousands of people a year. And what happens is people get set in their habits, their old habits. And when we talk to them about, you know, you got to get some salespeople. And the salespeople have to sell this way. And the presentation has to look like this. And we're going to talk a lot about tomorrow about marketing, advertising, and sales. And if you do this, and we get people who say, no, we don't really need salespeople. We've been doing it this way all these years. Well, it's the same thing with fitness and your product. People do the same machines all the time. And they get used to those machines. And they get used to their routines. But guess what happens? I'll tell you what happens. Just let somebody build a brand new club right near you. And you know what they do? They change. Why do they change? I don't know. They walk in and they say, we love you guys. We love your club. But we're going to give up our membership and go down the street just to try it, to see what it's like. Oh, great. So here's what the rule is. The rule is this. You are going to be obsolete in the next few years. You will be absolutely useless. Now, you just got to accept that for a fact. But you do have a choice, and you have control over it. Here's what the choice and here's what the control is. You can make yourself obsolete by reinventing your product and upgrading and being better than you were 3 years ago. Or you can let your competition make you obsolete. Now, if you let your competition make you obsolete, you're out of business. I didn't say you were going to be out of business in 3 years. I said you're going to be obsolete. There's a big difference. You'll be obsolete as you stand today, but you could be 10 times as successful if you keep reinventing yourself and become better and better and better as the years go by. So the older you get, the better you can be. That's kind of good news for people like me, because I'm 60. It's kind of like a wine. So, or if you choose, and this is your choice. This is kind of the cool thing in our business. It's a choice. It's not whether you're going to be obsolete or not. You're going to be obsolete. The choice is, if you do it yourself, you win. If you let somebody else do it, you lose. The law of change is critical. And when we build our marketing plans or we build a brand new club, what we do is we go to the bank and we don't say we need $1 million to build a club. We say we need $1 million to build a club now, and in 3 years I want another $500,000, in 3 years I want another $500,000. Because every 3 to 5 years I'm going to change this club. And here's the sad thing. Everyone in this room can teach what I just said. You guys know exactly what I'm saying. And you're shaking your heads and scratching your heads and you're going, this business seems to just like constantly be on the move and I gotta keep putting money into it. What is going on here? Isn't this correct? Yeah. So the reality is that's reality. And here's the deal. Get over it. Accept it. It's what it is. It's just what it is. I am a 3rd degree black belt in Hapkido. One of the great lessons I've learned is you got to deal with what you got to deal with. If you end up in the middle of a really bad mess, you can't just say, hold it guys, time out. I don't want to be here. Sorry, you're there. So you have to figure out how to make it right. In our club business, it's very simple. Accept it. Build it into your marketing plan. Build it into your strategic plans. Whatever it is, it is. It's good. It's good. It's all okay. Life's going to be good. It's not a bad thing. Change is imminent. It's real simple. Accept it or reject it. You reject it, you're dead. You accept it, live with it, work with it, you're successful. The law of change. It's kind of one of my favorites. I really like this one. When I built health clubs and when I owned health clubs in my younger days, somehow, I don't remember how, I understood this intuitively. And every 2 to 3 years, I would just do things. It almost didn't even matter what I did. I just did it. And like, I remember when, this goes back into ancient times. Step Reebok was just invented. It was like 30 days old. But here's the interesting thing about Step Reebok. Listen, 9 years before Step Reebok came out with their plastic steps, I had seen steps in a class that were made out of wood in Atlanta, Georgia. And I filmed the class. And I thought, whoa, nobody's ever done that before. And the reason I knew it was good was because when I was in college, which was like in the 1800s or something, we had a test called the Harvard Step Test. And you stepped up and you stepped down, and you stepped up and you stepped down, and you stepped up and you stepped down. And then what would you do? Take your pulse, and you see how quick your pulse recovers. And then when I played sports, what did I do to train? Well, in Los Angeles, there's a Coliseum called the LA Coliseum. And we used to run the stairs. 376 steps up and 376 steps down. All the way around. 37,000 steps to get all the way around. Your heart rate's beating. Boom, 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 boom. You're sweating. You don't know why you're doing this. You just know it's good for you. So you do it. And the coach tells you. So think now. 18-inch step test recovery rate, good, bad, against a standard. Then you train in the Coliseum. The lions are going to get you unless you run up and down. Then what happens? I see this film of people jumping up and down on steps. Then I see Reebok. It was even before Reebok had their name on the step. It was a blue step. I see the steps come out. Who's the first buyer of steps in America? Me. You know why? I didn't have a clue. But I knew it was going to be important because it's exercise. So I bought 36 steps, took one room, and just put steps all around the room. Didn't let the members pick them up and put them away like we do today. We didn't know how to teach it. There was no such thing as IDEA or ACE or any other organizations. There was no protocols. We just had people step up, step down, step up, step down, jump up, jump down, jump up, jump down. Take your heart rate. See how fast it recovers. Good class. Okay. See you tomorrow. Just do it. Guess what happened? Guess what happened? Here's what happened. Every fitness instructor in town came to our club because we had the most important new concepts. And they said, well, we want to teach for you. You like doing exciting things. So we went, okay. So we hired all these fitness instructors that were from the other clubs. Guess what happened? They brought all their students. Each fitness instructor came with 20, 30 students. Next thing I know, we were so full, we had to get some more space. We built another building. It's all about change. Willingness to just suck it up, not even knowing sometimes, and changing. Number 6, the law of service. Oops, got to get this one going. I got 2 buttons to push. There it is. There's my boy. Service is not your product. I'm sorry, service is your product. Service is your product, not bricks, mortar, cloth, and steel. Now, why do I say that? Because I'll tell you why. It's actually, a lot of it we already covered. Remember I told you the story about John and Mary and all that stuff. But if you think about it, anyone can build bricks, mortar, cloth, and steel. All it takes is a little bit of money. So if everybody can build this stuff, or, hey, hold on, I'll buy a treadmill for my house. I could put a treadmill in my house. See? Bricks, mortar, cloth, and steel. I got a gym. I'm a gym owner. I got a treadmill. So why is it that most treadmills or bikes that end up in homes end up being planters where you hang plants from? Huh? And they still have a gym membership. What is the deal? I don't know. So what the deal is the interpersonal relationships. Interpersonal relationships that people develop inside your club that make them want to stay there. And if you don't have interpersonal relationships, they're not going to stay. So the interpersonal relationships comes from your people that work at your club and also hooking them into the other members so they're bonded. So if you have an aquatics class where they're doing exercises in the pool, then all of a sudden these people are all kind of family. How many people here have pools, swimming pools? Okay. Do you find that your exercise classes are becoming more and more important or less important? More? Okay. I predict the future of fitness is in the swimming pool. Is there anybody here that's getting younger? Is there anybody here that has hurt their back within their lifetime? Or has bad knees? Or is there anybody here that has a father or a mother? Just watch them walk around. That's you in 5 or 10 or 20 years. You better get in the pool. Because you're not going to be able to do this on a treadmill or a cross trainer. What are you laughing at? That's not funny. You see, service, this is my definition of service, is meeting the customer at his or her doorstep and giving them what they want when they want it. So when they're 20 years old, give them salsa aerobics and beat the crap out of them. Good. When they're 30 years old, give them a treadmill. When they're 40 years old, put them on a cross trainer. And when they're 50, throw them in the swimming pool. And when they're 60, let them go play golf or something. You see? And when they're 80 or 90, put them in the grave. But they had a good time all the way along. 100. Good. I'm good with that. Let them do yoga someplace in there. But see, remember the motivations of John? He has the pedometer. Well, I could tell you right now the motivations of someone that's now in the 50, 45, 50, 55, 60 that may have been very active when they were young playing sports. They have different motivations now. You got to find out what they are. I could tell you right now, every single person that raised your hand, I could take a picture, put the picture up on the board, and I'm going to do this, and it will be your swimming pool full of women that weigh almost 100 pounds more than they should, that have gray to white hair, sometimes it's blue, that really don't care to exercise very much. They want to talk most of the time. And what they're talking about is where they're going to go have their pastry and coffee after class. And that's the typical class of a woman, aquatics right now. Anybody agree with that? Exactly. And what we want to do is change that demographic. The law of service. Meet the member at their doorstep, not yours. The closer you get to them, the better off you're going to be. How many people here create programs and put them on the internet for your members so that they can, in fact, work out elsewhere with your program? Meet them where they want to be. It's critical. Law number 7, last one. Law number 7 is called the law of hope, friendship, and fun. Members join on hope but stay for friendship and fun. Members join because they are paying you to fulfill their dreams. That's hope. You're the one that's going to help them lose weight. Those hips, I can't even get through the door. I got to get those hips down. I got to get that belly in. My wife told me I was fat, and she won't have sex with me unless I lose 25 pounds. It's all... Did I say something wrong in Argentina? It's all about their hope, that you're going to fulfill that hope. But here's what happens. I know people that have belonged to health clubs for like 20 years, and they're fatter now than when they first joined. What is that all about? Well, what it's all about is the reason they stayed the member is because something happened when they joined and they made friends. And it's a place for them to go. And in life, there's 3 places to go. Home, work, and then your own private place. Work, that's work. Nobody wants to go to work, but you got to go to work, so we go to work. Home, well, if you have a wife and kids, that's work. It's the exact same thing, only with a different flavor. And if you're a wife, it's work to be at home. You got to make meals, you got to wait for this to happen, you got to get the place cleaned and all of that stuff. So that third place is your private place. The place that you can go and just like be yourself, enjoy it. Have a little fun, maybe talk to some friends. That's the reason the old ladies, we call them water buffaloes. Does that interpret? Water buffaloes. That's why the old ladies go in the swimming pool so they can socialize and get away from their husbands that are nagging them to death, that are retired. And you notice the husbands and the wives never go together. They go to different clubs. The guys go to the steam room and bellyache to each other, and the women go in the pool and bellyache to each other there. It's kind of a good combination. But that's what a club is about. The definition of a club is a group of like-minded people. In other words, they're together because they have common interests. We've lost a lot of that in our fitness business. Our fitness business is, come on, go work out, work hard, blah, 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 and go away. That's not a club. That's a convenience store. You go and you get bread and milk and you go home. That's what some of these gyms are turning out to be. You go and you buy a bicep and you get a quadricep and a few pecs and you go home. That's not what it's all about. We can get pecs at home. Just get a set of weights. So where we are right now is I want to show you a little movie of a program that we created a couple years ago, 2 years ago in Flash. And now what we do is every member that joins our CMS clubs starts off with this program called 7 Steps to the Good Life. And what it is they get this CD, excuse me, they get a CD and a workbook. And they watch the CD and they work their way through the workbook. Then they bring it to the instructor, and the instructor then helps them build a program around their needs and what they want, not around pre-programmed things. And this comes to the full circle around how did John ever end up with his pedometer, and that happened to be by mistake. But when people go on the 7 Steps program, the instructors are now instructed to say, here's your pedometer, or let's go on the cardio, or let's go in the swimming pool, or let's go on the weights, or let's take a class. And you don't just go in a class, you go in a class and you understand that you're in the class because it's the right class for you, not the wrong class. I was recently in Australia, and I was watching this young, beautiful instructor, incredibly fit instructor. You've seen him. You probably own a few yourself. this instructor was teaching this class, and she was perfect in the mirror, and perfect steps. Twist now, turn her around, everything's perfect. Don't I look good, you know? And then these people in the back were taking her class, and they were falling all over the floor. They didn't have a clue what they were doing. Those people were in the wrong class. We need to get people in the right programs. And there's only one way to do it. Sit and talk to them. What a unique concept, you see. So we're going to play this short movie, and then we'll have a few questions, and then we'll call it a night. So,
congratulations on starting one of the most satisfying, exciting, and personally fulfilling journeys that life has to offer. The way to look great and feel even better. The journey called fitness. The road to the good life. Now that you're a member, you've already accomplished the most difficult first step to living each day to its fullest and strongest. The rest of your journey will take a necessary degree of work and some personal commitment. Soon, however, you'll find that fitness will become part of your daily routine. It will become a highlight of your day. We suggest you start with the 7 Steps to the Good Life program. These steps are outlined on the next screen. All you need to do is move your mouse over the points and click. It will help you to get the most out of your membership and the most out of your fitness journey. Enclosed is your personal 7 Steps to the Good Life workbook. Take a few minutes to look at it and start filling out your personal fitness plan.
So, that's the introduction to the movie, the program. And what they do is, if you notice over here on the right, it says fun. This one says, what does that say? Believe. That's the mental aspect of fitness. And then we go over to the next one over here on the left. And that's nourishment. That's losing weight or gaining weight. And then we have motivation. And then we have goals, setting their goals. Set a priority, which means to put it in your appointment book, and then have a vision, your own personal fitness vision. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this first one. We won't go through all 7, but you can understand now they're filling out this little workbook under the supervision of this CD.
Step 1, create your personal fitness vision. What's the reason you joined? You need to think about what we call your own personal fitness vision. This may be as simple as wanting to feel or look better. Maybe you want to be in shape or trim down. Limit your PFV to one major idea and simply state it in a single short sentence. For example, I have 3 kids and I want to be active with them as they grow up. I want to be around to enjoy my grandkids. I need to be in shape for skiing next year. Or exercise helps me keep my diabetes under control. Make it your personal vision. Pin down your PFV in a concise single sentence. Write it down. Give it to your trainer and review it regularly. Your PFV will keep you focused and on track. Take a minute and write down your personal fitness vision in your workbook, the main reason you want to get healthy and fit.
So, questions? Okay. So that's step number 1. And of course, it goes through all 7 steps. I'm going to play one more just so you have a really good idea. And why don't we go over to nourishment. So this is what we will tell them at the very beginning about how to eat better. It's not a diet program. It's just trying to delve into the deep corners of their mind. What is it going to be?
Step 5. Don't diet. Just improve your eating habits. Think of food as nourishment for your body and a way of increasing overall health. Improvement and change comes through a series of small steps. Make healthy eating a part of your good life by setting one improvement goal each week. For example, drinking plenty of water, eating smaller meals throughout the day, or not grocery shopping on an empty stomach. Quick tip, don't worry about the scale, worry about how your clothes feel. Besides working out at the club, list several activities you like to do alone with a friend or with family. When you can't get to the club, do these activities as a substitute.
So I think you're probably getting the idea how this all works. And then this is kind of a sweet little, oops, I'm pushing the wrong buttons. There we go. See if this works. Yeah. There we go. So then it comes to 3 different windows, your personal 7 steps workbook. So they print up their own workbook. And then fitness and weight loss tips and fitness inspirations. What's real interesting is, now if you notice, the day of the week is the 26th right now. And so every day, I'll get the hang of this, you guys. Okay. So it's the 26th, and then so every day they look up in their CD, and in this particular case, I won't ask them to interpret the whole thing. It says improved oxygen flow in the brain, improves capability for thinking, and 3 other tips for the day. So then every day, they're able to go through that. Now, where's the exit? Oh, there's the back. Got it. Then we go to, this is kind of a fun one. Every day we play with their mind, and they're, oops, is that the same one? Did I just do that? Yeah, I did, didn't I? Okay. There we go. Okay, so then every day we ask them the fitness instructor to give them a fitness and weight loss tip. And so then we have travel fitness tips. There's 10 of them and so forth. It's like a little bug. There we go. Then the last thing we'll do is right here, enjoy the journey. And then it finishes up right here.
Beyond these 7 steps to the good life, always remember that our club is staffed with experienced, knowledgeable professionals. They have the training, expertise, and mission to bring out the best in you. They believe in what they're doing because they've seen the results and the incredible rewards they're able to help deliver to you. As an extra added feature at the end of this program, you'll find a selection of fitness and health tips to help you accomplish your goals and help you reach the good life. Enjoy the journey. Bet you're feeling better already.
Okay, so like to answer any questions if you'd like, and then we'll call it a night. Any questions?
Él dijo que a los 2 o 3 años hacía una gran inversión, o por lo menos iba a modificar su negocio, y después lo iba a volver a hacer, y después lo iba a volver a hacer. El tema es cómo planifica esos números, si él guarda una tajada de la torta para reinvertirla y de cuánto es.
I think I can hear you. Oops. Yes. Yep.
Repito, él dijo hoy que siempre iba a tratar de hacer algo diferente y que un par de años después iba a modificar su negocio. El tema es si el dinero para eso lo saca de una tajada de la torta especial o si toma de sus utilidades y lo reinvierte.
Yep. Everybody heard the question, I think. The answer to the question is two parts. One is we tell our clubs to put 8% of all the money they bring in, 8% for growth. So they take in 100%, they take 8%, put it away to pay for some of those expenses. The second thing is sometimes we have to go borrow money, go to the bank because it's too big. And the object of the new programs, what you do is you spend a lot of time and effort. Once you put the program in place, you also have enough money to market against those programs. So the new programs cause growth. So you get 8% plus growth money. That pays for it. And you keep doing it. 8% plus growth money pays for it. And you just keep doing it. And you have to do it forever. So that's where the money comes from for that type of strategy. Does that answer your question?
¿Alguna pregunta más? ¿No? Bueno, entonces,
Okay. Well, thank you very
muchas
much.
gracias, Mike
See you
Chaet.
tomorrow.
Thank you very much.